Ryan, thanks so much for joining me today, and thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy day to provide some feedback. I really appreciate it.
Of course, I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So we'll just run through some short questions and just answer as truthfully as possible. Just want to get your feedback and just see how mConsent has worked in your practice. So Ryan, what was your process prior to using mConsent in the office?
To be honest, we're a pretty progressive office, but we always had doctors that believed in the paper trail. And what would end up happening is two things, is especially with our consent forms, we'd get in a hurry or a rush and say we run out of forms, we'd go to the Xerox machine, run them off. And of course, they're crooked, maybe overexposed, black lines through the consent form. It just was not professional whatsoever. And it looked horrible in the chart. And so I think it was through one of the magazines we found, Dentrix magazines, we found mConsent. And it's been great because it's so much cleaner. And as far as updating patient records, I mean, that was kind of a mess too, because we'd have old phone numbers and we'd always, there'd be like a communication breakdown between the back and the front where we'd ask that a patient needs to update their records, but the front gets busy, it never gets done. And so this has been really nice because either the assistant or the hygienist, especially our hygienists, they're more proactive about getting pertinent information. They can just now go to the portal, obviously, and update the patient records.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely a key feature that a lot of offices really benefit from, is the automatic updating of certain patients' data, so that you can always always rest assured that you have the most updated phone number or the email or the address if you need to send a bill or something.
Well, especially and especially med history. I mean, that's very important because our older clients, I mean, things change, and I mean, medications change, and so that's been one of the best features, I think, for sure.
Absolutely. How long has your office been using mConsent?
We started in August, so that's 3 or 4 months now. We wanted to. I'm kind of OCD. I wanted to make sure that we had our consent forms customized first, and so I worked hard on that. And then, but we did start in August. We started out small first. We started out just with consent forms, and then later we added the paperwork packets to our website, which have been great. And that's how we've basically started that process. But so like I said, small first with consent forms, and then we gradually increased with all our registration and med history and dental history forms, and even our HIPAA forms as well.
Absolutely. And then how would you say just the overall process has been impacted by using mConsent?
So much time is saved, because it's just nice how it just automatically goes into, we're Dentrix, so it's just nice how it just goes into the document manager. I mean, like I said, it's clean. I mean, so the doctors can bring it up on the monitor, or even better yet is we have the doctors sign off on the medical and dental histories.
Sure.
And so it's really nice to have the iPad in front of them, and so they can make eye contact with the patient, have the iPad in front of them, so they can go over the history. And once they're done, they can sign off on it. And of course, it automatically goes into the document manager.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the big features that we designed. That once you digitize a form, it works a little bit differently than a piece of paper, right? Because for a doctor to sign off and review, like, let's say, a medical history form, with a piece of paper, you can set it aside for later, and then the doctor can
Right.
sign, whenever they can, and then later you have to worry about scanning all that stuff in.
Right. And that goes back to the old paper trail, because the patients, if they have a significant list of medications or medical issues, I mean, they'll usually write it on the back, and that can be skipped and everything like that, or not skipped, but I mean, at least in the scanning process, it can be overlooked. So,
right, absolutely, yeah. So doctors can also sign off on those doctor's review forms on their computers now.
yes,
Did
and you
we?
helped me with that, actually.
Yeah, perfect. Yep. So just want to make sure we got the computers connected, so they're able to do that now, which is awesome. So they can do it from their computer or from the iPad still. So
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. That's a big feature a lot of doctors find useful. And then
Yes,
then
for
of course
sure.
all their notes get just automatically added. So
Yeah.
it's
And I
awesome.
think the nice little touch too is, like, if they have medications or allergies, that it's brought up in red on the iPad too. So
Yes.
that's a nice touch,
Yep. They'll
obviously.
stand out, and of course they'll always update in the medical history for the patient in their Dentrix chart as well. So,
Correct. Yes. Yes.
cool. So Ryan, how would you now in the time of getting set up and customizing your forms, how would you rate our support team's availability and responsiveness to answer your questions and concerns?
Actually, my favorite feature, and this is no lie, is the chat now. It's that is probably my favorite, because I'm not first of all, like, I'm not really close to a phone, and then even our server is is kind of like in a corner without. I mean, I can use my cell, of course, but I love the chat now feature, because I feel like I could get in and out with my question answered, and everybody that I've talked to so far has been great. 10 out of 10 for sure. But it's just really nice because it's convenient, and I don't think I've ever had to wait for longer than a few minutes. So,
Well, that's great. I'm really glad. I'm really glad to hear that. That's great feedback. I'm glad we're able to provide that personalized support. That chat now feature actually just got added or uploaded like early this summer. So
great.
that was pretty big. And then we've also implemented other methods of requesting support from us. So that chat is great for for let's say like a quick question that you need answered right away and don't want to sit on the phone or call
Correct.
in, all that stuff. We've added some options in our form editor as well. And
Yes.
the form editor is also brand new, so you're able to edit your forms from your computer, and then within those you can also request edits from us. So you can request support on editing forms.
For the
Um,
iPad.
yep. So yeah, we've kind of taken that feedback, and this year we've kind of implemented just more than one way to
Oh, yes.
to get a hold of us. Because kind of beforehand it was just either you call us or you send us an email basically. So
Right.
I'm glad that you like that chat feature. That's awesome. That makes me feel
And
good.
I've utilized the email support too with our when I first started, when we were creating our custom forms. That was great. They just told me to make sure you say in the memo that this is how you want your iPad form, or this is how you want your the form on the computer, and that was pretty much easy, and that was great. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. So Ryan, what would you say to other practices that are considering using mConsent and might be on the fence of signing up?
I would say it's completely mConsent is completely worth the time, the subscription. Just little things that I've noticed, besides being able to customize your forms, is I mean, yes, there's you guys are great with the. I think there's already some example forms out there, and that's great. But I think some dentists are pretty particular in what they want, and ours are, and which is great.
That's right
But
about that. Yeah.
yeah, and but it was just so nice to I could copy um, almost like verbatim, like how our forms used to look like on paper, and I think that was the greatest thing. And like I said, mentioned earlier, having the doctors be able to confirm and sign, that's been really special as well. And some nice things or nice touches, because you're always, I'm always, I don't know, as a practice, you always want patients to, um, like, um, what's the terminology? I mean, feel good about where they are. I mean, you don't want, like I said, poor Xerox copies, like, here they're going for $30,000-$40,000 worth of surgery, and they're signing a black, um, like overexposed consent form. And I
Yeah.
think with mConsent, what's really nice is it not only on the iPad when they sign away, um, is that it's in our colors and with our logo, and I think that's so brilliant. I think that's just a very nice touch with that. And but I think as far as time, I mean, it's nice now because the consent forms are signed by the time the doctor arrives, and it's already uploaded. So we don't have to worry about that information, and we don't have to worry about two-hole punching in and putting in the chart. But little things. I mean, just like I said, it's the customization on the iPad. Um, it's just so much cleaner. That's all I don't know how a better way to describe that, but it's just a cleaner look, more professional, obviously.
Well, yeah, definitely. I am glad. Yeah, that's really good feedback. I like that, Ryan. And then, with forms now, you're able to to make edits and customizations on your own as well. Previously,
Yes.
if you wanted to make changes, you have to request a change to our support team, and we have to, we had to make changes for you, which took a few days. So we just
And that's okay.
just designed that form editor for your convenience as well.
Yeah, and
So
that's
yeah,
okay too, because I mean, you guys customized it like uh, exactly how we wanted it, so it's worth a few days, in the processing department, I suppose.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
and then I was going to add one more thing, but I totally spaced, it. Sorry. Okay,
No worries.
continue.
Maybe if I ask the question again, that might jog your memory. I asked, what would you say to other practices considering using mConsent?
um, and
That
that's and that's the best part, I think, is just having that iPad. Oh, I know what I was going to say too. With I've used other. We tried to implement other digital consent forms through like our practice management software. I'll use Dentrix, for example.
mm-hmm.
And what stunk was that it. So you could go in, into the iPad and through Dentrix and fill out the information, but it just seemed so long, and no matter how much we tried to cut back, there's never that meter, that completion meter that you guys have,
Mm-hmm.
determining how far we are in the paperwork, and it just felt like it was dragging on and dragging on. And once we completed it in Dentrix, what really stunk was when we tried to bring it up in Document Manager. The format was so far off. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
even trying to bring it up on the screen, you're asking one question and then you have to kind of find where they've answered it. It's like the format was just.
Is that the Dentrix questionnaire that you're referring to?
That is correct.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And I think that was the biggest thing I can't sell the doctors on, and because that's why we stayed on the paper trail a little longer, because And that was, like I said, and the patients don't know. I mean, I just felt like we're a practice that prides ourselves to get our patients back on time, and
Right.
when they're still filling out paperwork, 10, 15 minutes into the appointment, that's not good.
Yeah, that just basically delays everybody else in the day too,
Exactly.
and like yeah, and like pushes other appointments around, and yeah, I know how that
Yes.
goes.
And that's what I remembered was, because like I said, using that Dentrix questionnaire, it was, I mean, yeah, it was not good. It was not good.
Yeah, that's kind of the general feedback that I get on the questionnaire. Is it really not that fun to use?
Yeah, and like I said, it's really tedious, and for
Yeah.
our patients, I just, especially, I mean, maybe somebody that's not as savvy on an iPad or mobile device. I mean, I just that yeah, that would just crush us, I think.
Well, I really appreciate the feedback, Ryan. I'm glad our software is able um, um, to help your office run more efficiently and save time with patients, and I'm glad you like all of our new features that we developed this year. Uh, that's great. Uh, I'm
Yes.
just I'm just super happy that you enjoy it. We've been making a lot of updates this year, and our system has come a long way since I've been here for the last 2 years.
Oh, absolutely. And
Where we
I see
started.
more stuff that I have to investigate too with our, I think you guys have included televisits. And I think that's, I'm going to utilize that for one of our doctors, because he's an implant specialist. And I think that would be really nice for him, especially in Wyoming, where um, why we're not, um, there's not a huge population like in one central location. We're all like spread out. And I think he wants to reach the whole state of Wyoming sometimes. And I think these
Yeah.
televisits would really benefit our practice.
Yeah, that's the thing. I work with another office out of Texas, and in this office, their doctor's specialty pediatric
Correct. Right.
dentist. And I don't know what it is, but I think she provides a certain service where patients from literally all across the state will come just there, and they have to travel like 3-4 hour
All right.
drives.
For
And
a
they,
consult.
um,
For
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
one.
exactly. Even for like, let's say, just like a consult, like an initial
Right.
consultation that doesn't really need or like involve any kind of work or like looking in the mouth, just having to
Right.
speak with a patient. Also, triage and providing like emergency um, visits. Like sometimes a patient doesn't need to be seen in the office; they might just need to speak with the doctor face to face and provide a
Correct.
prescription or something like that. So, there's also that. And then included in our bill pay or in our teledentistry feature is a bill pay feature as well, integrated with
Yes.
Stripe, and that's really useful because you can send a patient an invoice right after you get off the call. And with Stripe, um, there is a small percentage taken off by Stripe, but the payment is pretty much instant. Not pretty much, it's instant.
It's
So you do get instant bill pay with that, along with
very
the
nice.
ability to send a consent form like within the televisit appointment. So if you have an appointment set up with the patient to video chat, while you're in there, you don't even have to back out to send them a consent form. Let's say you might have like a televisit consent form that they would need to
Right.
sign. You can send that to them just with the click of a button. It sends it to them. You can start the appointment. They can sign it right then and there, or after the appointment, or whatever. But yeah, all those features are kind of built all in one. You should have access to see those options on your dashboard.
Yes.
There is a 30-day free trial, um,
Oh, very nice.
so the doctor can try it out for 30 days. Just give it a test run to see if it's something that you would benefit from. And then there is a coupon code to get you $20 off. So with that code, the
The
price
Get Me
for
20.
television and bill pay would be the Get Me 20.
All right.
It would be $49 a month.
Very nice. Okay. I will definitely yeah, like I said, I'll have to set up. I think Dr. Humans will be utilizing that one the best. So
Yeah, definitely. So when you open up those tabs, there's demo videos on there, so you can feel free to watch those. If you have any questions on those features, you can definitely always feel free to reach out to me
oh yeah,
or our team, and we'll be able to answer any questions about those features, and help you set anything up if you'd like to get those features set up. There's also like a training video on how you can set things up, but we're always here to help
oh
if you need.
yes.
So
And I think that's how I started too. Is I trained. Well, I watched the webinar, and then I spoke to someone on your team. He actually walked me through, and then yeah, it's been great. So
yeah, I'm glad. So yeah, we're always making improvements and adding new features. I'm glad you like the system so far. Look out for more updates to come in
oh
the
yes.
near future.